today we're going to be analyzing a set I did with Jasmine. So this is the first photo we're going to analyze. So there's kind of essentially three things I'm looking for in my photos. So the first thing would be the lighting. That's the first and foremost, followed by her pose, and then by composition. So the combination of these three will kind of give the overall mood and tone of the photo. Yeah, kind of like we're analyzing an English essay. Anyway, let's get right into it. So the first photo we have here is Jasmine leaning on the sofa, and immediately we can see that the light source is coming from these large windows around her, right? So these large windows are not only the reason for these soft ambient light, but also the curtains which help diffuse the light. You see these beautiful white curtains. These help in giving the soft ambient light that is resting on her body. So you can see here that the shadow is very soft and not hard at all. Yeah. And moving on, let's go to her poses. Maybe we can use like a different color. So let's use green. Okay. So actually, let's use blue. So now looking at her pose, we can see that she is doing a very good job of accentuating her pose and accentuating her curves. And she does this in two ways. Firstly, what I notice is that her back is arched. So right here, you can see that her back is arched, which gives that emphasis on the waistline here, giving that little V shape. Making a beautiful curve right here and right here. So that's the first thing I noticed. The second thing I noticed is also she's giving angles with her legs and arms, right? So you can see here, there's angles here and angles here. This gives a little nice area here, giving space between the limbs, which looks very beautiful in photos. And also the same thing here on her arms, which is awesome. Well, what else can I say? Yeah. And then lastly, moving on to the composition. So I specifically composed this photo with this large foreground here. You can see this is actually a piece of leaf that I shot through. And the reason I did this is because I wanted to give that feeling of, I want to give her space. I don't want to be intruding. I don't want the shot to be like kind of, hey, this is me taking a photo of you. I want it to be more candid, right? So giving that foreground kind of gives us like, it's like we're sneak peeking at her. That's kind of the idea. So we wanted to see that she's actually in her element. We're not asking her to pose. We're not asking her to do anything that the camera wants to see. We're simply just documenting this moment. And yeah, the overall mood and tone here is kind of that ambient, soft, nonchalant look that I like to see in my photos. Moving on. This is also Jasmine on the same sofa. Same thing again, the lighting. Let's use yellow. The lighting is coming in from these large light sources here, large windows here, and then with the soft diffusion from the large curtains. So yeah, you can see that it's coming in here and giving that lovely shadow that is resting on her leg right here, and also on the sofa, if you can see. Yeah, so that's the lighting, still keeping with that lovely soft ambience. And then now we're looking at the pose. So actually in her pose this time, she's a bit more relaxed this time, right? You can see she's more resting. It's not as posed as the other one. It's more like she's calm, relaxed, and sleeping, just basking in this warmth of the summer sun, right? And again, I want to point out that she does a well job at accentuating her curves. You can see here, her legs here are arched. Her back is also arched as well, and she has this area here where she keeps that little space. So this is a nice aesthetic to see. It's really aesthetic, so we can see that the limbs are separated and we can see a nice flow of the legs. And she's also pointing her toes, which gives the sense of long legs, accentuate your legs as well. So we always want to see that long limb, just making yourself as long as possible. It looks really nice in photos. Yeah. And lastly, composition. Again, here we can see that I use the foreground here on the right-hand side, which is part of the wall. The same thing as well. I don't want to be too intrusive. I want it to be more documenting the moment. And this time I made sure to include the little lamp here because I want to give the photo a bit more context. So by giving this lamp, it kind of helps people see that, hey, this is like a home environment and she is at home, relaxing and kind of just enjoying the sun. So yeah, I think the lamp really adds to that feel, gives a bit more context and story to the image. Yes, and overall, this is giving that ambient, nonchalant, relaxing, soft tone. And lastly, we have this photo here, which is Jasmine on the same sofa. Let's talk about lighting. So lighting here, we can see that it's coming from this one here, this large window, and there's another large window here giving that soft ambient light because of the curtain. And you can see here the shadow is very soft on her legs. And actually, I really like this photo in terms of the lighting because you can actually see her muscles here, which is beautiful. It's very well accentuated by the soft shadows. And oh, I love this part of the photo. Just the muscle, to be able to see the muscle, I think it's really beautiful. So moving on to the pose, this pose is one of the most beautiful ones out of these three. I think it's because you can really see how she elongates her body and makes her look big in the photo. So here you can see that, you know, all these curves all the way down, you know, she's bending her legs, she's giving the space here, and also arching her back, her arms as well as giving that space. And you can see that little ambience light in the area here, giving that little space in between the limbs. So I think this is a very beautiful pose, and she's done it well done there. I really want to talk about the composition in this one as well. I framed this photo, she is in a way that's very close to her, and this makes her feel very big in the photo, right? I wanted to focus on just how magnificent the muscle is looking, magnificent the pose is, so didn't want other elements in the photo but just her and the sofa, right? So you can see here it's very close up, and this one did not have any foreground. So the reason for this is because I wanted to be, hey, we're up here, we're up close to her, and we want to see, you know, we want to see the pose that she's showing us, and I think it's beautiful in this way, just putting all the focus on her body, on her pose. As well, you know, shooting from the shadow side, I think that's a beautiful thing because it gives this soft lighting here. We can really accentuate the shadow by shooting from the shadow side, as opposed from shooting from the other side, the bright side, which doesn't really accentuate and show the muscle or the shadow much on body. So yeah, that is the three photos. I'm going to show you kind of the breakdown of these three photos right here. You can pause the video if you want. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. This is kind of really an experiment for me to see how I can analyze my photos and show you guys what goes on in a photo that I shoot. So thank you so much for watching, and I see you guys on the next one. Peace out.